Hello, everyone. In the previous lesson, we thoroughly explored collections in Dart, and today we will continue this topic and move on to methods that help us work with collections. Let's start with the for-each method. This method is implemented in the iterable interface, which means it is available in both list and set. This method allows us to iterate through all the elements of a collection and execute some code for each element. The method takes a single parameter, which is a function. We need to pass an anonymous function with one parameter. This parameter will have the same type as our collection. For example, if we have a list of string, we should pass an anonymous function with a parameter of type string. Inside the body of the anonymous function, we can, for example, print the parameter to the console. Let's run the code and see what happens. As you can see, each element of our collection is printed to the console. This means that we iterated through each element, and for each one, our anonymous function was called, with the parameter being replaced by the element from the collection. Note that we don't have to explicitly specify the type when defining the parameters of the anonymous function. Dart automatically understands that since we're calling for each on a collection of type string, the parameter will also be of type string. Therefore, we don't need to specify it manually. Next, let's move on to the map method. This method is used very often and allows us to transform all elements of our collection and return a new collection based on them. This method, like the previous one, takes an anonymous function as a parameter. However, in this case, we need to return something in the result of the anonymous function to create a new collection. For example, let's create a list of numbers. Suppose we need to create a new collection based on this one, but with the numbers multiplied by 2. To do this, we'll create another list of type int, and for the value, we'll write the following. We'll call the map method and pass an anonymous function with one parameter, which will return that parameter multiplied by 2. Note that we are also not required to explicitly specify the int type in the parameters of the anonymous function, since Dart will understand it automatically. Additionally, instead of using curly braces and the return keyword, we can use the shorter version with an arrow, but we encounter a compiler error. The issue is that the map method does not return a list or set, but an object of type iterable. As we covered in previous lessons, iterable is an interface implemented by list and set. To solve this problem, we simply need to call the toList method at the end. This is a method from the iterable interface that allows converting an iterable object into a list. There's also a toSet method if we need to convert to a set. As you can see, there are no more errors now. Let's try printing our second list to the console. As we can see, everything works as expected, and we have obtained a list with elements from the first list multiplied by 2. Let's look at another example. Suppose we want to get a list of string from our list of numbers. To do this, we'll adjust the type of the second list and change into string. We'll also modify our anonymous function to return a string. After running the program, we can see that everything works. Now, let's move on to the where method. It filters the collection based on a given condition and returns a new collection containing the elements that satisfy the condition. Let's try filtering our list of numbers to get only even numbers. For this, we call the where method and pass an anonymous function that will check the elements. Note that this function should return a bool value. Let's check if the remainder of the division by 2 equals 0. This way, all elements where the remainder of the division by 2 is 0, those that return true from the anonymous function, will be included in the new collection, while those that return false will be excluded. Keep in mind that, like the map method, the where method returns an iterable object, not a list, so don't forget to use the toList method. Let's try printing the new list to the console. As we can see, only the even numbers are printed, which means our method works. The last method for today is sort. It allows sorting our collection. Note that it does not return a new collection as the previous methods did, but modifies the current one. As the name suggests, it sorts the collection. Let's try sorting our list and printing it to the console. After running the program, we can see that it is sorted in ascending order. This method also has an optional parameter, which is an anonymous function that returns an int. This function is necessary if we want to sort our collection by a custom rule. We won't go over this parameter today, but we will definitely cover it in future lessons with practical examples. Today, we learned how to work with collections and explored the main methods for processing them. Methods like forEach, map, where, and sort can significantly simplify data handling in an application. Make sure to practice with these methods to reinforce the material. There are many methods for working with collections, but today we covered the main ones. The remaining methods don't need to be studied for now. We will learn them through practice. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. Thank you for your attention, and see you in the next lesson.